Students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am streaming this lesson to you from Budapest here in Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a fantastic and productive week so far. In this class, we are focusing on a task to essay strategies on how to create ideas and write a high band response to the question. Hi, I'm doing fantastic today. Thank you for asking. This is a members chat class. That means you need to be a member of the channel to be able to chat. It means you need to click the join button beside the subscribe button to be a member. Hi, Pavan. Again, while we wait for some more of our members to join in, this class is brought to you by aehelp.com for the academic IELTS. Join our premium package there. And for the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com and join the premium package on that web portal. I'll show you what they look like when you're searching. Make sure you're finding the original website. It's the blue background here at aehelp.com. You can click that big red button to join the premium package, get over 100 hours of video lessons, a fully interactive course, and 6 practice exams. The general version of the exam looks like this at gieltshelp.com. You can click that big red button to join us there and get all of our support materials. Of course, we have apps for your phone. You can search your app store for Academic IELTS Help. Look for our Shield, download our app, and General IELTS Help app with this green shield. You can link the app to your web account for a really integrated and comprehensive learning experience. Comprehensive, by the way, students, means a complete, total experience. That word is comprehensive. Hi Preeti, hi Firdavs, hi Amarjeet. Good to see more members joining in. Students, if you have questions about our products or about the exam, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I will do my utmost to respond in due time. Again, task 2 today for members, followed by a listening class where we will cover section 1, section 2 of the listening exam. And of course, everyone will be able to join the chat there. Then we'll have classes tomorrow and Saturday also. Let's get to today's lesson. Hi, Yvonne. Here we go. So this is task 2. Task 2 is very, very similar between academic and general, so pay attention regardless of which module you're doing. Here we go. IELTS Task 2 writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Always be sure to practice that time limit. Many people these days borrow money from financial institutions like banks to start a business or buy a house. Others believe that this is bad practice and people should only spend money that they have. Which do you believe and why? Use explanations and examples from your own experience. You should write at least 250 words. All right, kind of a cool question, or an interesting, provocative question for today's class. Hi Rajveer, hi Yvonne, I see more of you have joined in. Okay, what should you do? So you see the question, you read this question in task 2. What should you do whether you're practicing at home or you're sitting in the exam? What's your first step? What do you need to do? And it's quite important to do this because one of the biggest mistakes that students make on the exam is they write off topic. And this strategy will help to make sure that you stay on topic. Okay, so strategy 1, you have to do something in order. This helps to stay on topic, find useful vocabulary, visualize the information, and think about concepts. Yeah, very good. So all of you are saying paraphrase the question. You should just paraphrase the question. Yeah, paraphrase the question. If you paraphrase the question, Yvonne, that will also help you to identify the type of essay. So I can say, identify the type of essay. So paraphrasing the question will help you do that. Okay. All right, so let's do that together. Let's paraphrase this question. So paraphrase this question for me, students, as best as you can. Write this question in your own words using your own vocabulary. I'm going to do the same. So I'll paraphrase with you, and then we will compare notes. Okay? All right. So good. Awaz. First out of the gates. Excellent. Good job, Awaz. Awaz says majority of individuals are borrowing money from financial organizations such as banks to start a business or purchase a home. Okay, it's not bad, Awaz. It's fairly similar to the original question. Make sure, students, that you are doing at least 60% paraphrasing. Okay. And then Awaz continues, others believe that this is the wrong practice and individuals should only spend cash which they have. It's not necessarily cash, Awaz. Cash is one form of money. But yeah, it's not bad. Okay. Rajveer says a lot of individuals take money from monetary organizations such as banks for buying a house or starting a new venture. Nice paraphrasing, Rajveer. Okay. You grabbed that word monetary. Good. Organizations. Excellent. However, others ascertain that this is a bad approach and people should use their own money that they have. What is your position? And explain. Rajveer, nice. And Rajveer, very good job to paraphrase the end of the question just like I did, which is which side do you agree with and what are your reasons? Okay. Which side do you agree with and what are your reasons? That's very, very clear. Paraphrase for which do you believe and why? Rajbir says, what is your position and explain? So all of those paraphrases are good. So Rajveer says, what is your position? And explain. Yeah. So that's where we identify the specific type of essay. So Yvonne said we should figure out what kind of essay it is. Of course, as many of our members know, task 2 essays are persuasive essays written in the first or third person voice. Okay? When we say persuasive essays, that also some people call them argument or argumentative essays. And first person voice means that you can use I, me, my. And third person voice means that you don't use I, me, my, you use people, society, and so on. Okay? Now keep in mind that these essays should never use second person voice. That's a big mistake. Second person voice is when you speak directly to your reader. So that's you, your. Okay? So you should never use the you, your in your essays. All right, Preeti is giving us another paraphrase for this question. Preeti says, several individuals nowadays take loans from banks to set up their new business or purchase a home. Other people think that this practice is wrong and they should splurge money that they have. Splurge, Preeti, I think is not the right word here. Splurge means to spend too much money. Spend or use, okay, or pay with. Those words work better, Preeti. Splurge is like if you have a wedding and you spend lots of money to have beautiful decorations and limousines for everybody and beautiful wedding dress and so on. Then you're splurging money. So you're spending excessive money. Okay. And Preeti says, which notion do you support and why? Okay, good. Ferdov says, nowadays most humans take money from financial companies like banks to launch entrepreneurship or purchase a home. Certain individuals ascertain that this is a harmful decision. Yeah, okay, could be. And then continuing Ferdov's. Good. Okay, so for this essay, okay, you should always have clarity. So this is a tip here. Be clear on what type of thesis statement you need to write. Okay, it's very important. So, first person, third person, discuss both sides, just one side. Okay. Here, what type of thesis do you think we need? So looking at this question, what type of a thesis statement do you need? For all of our viewers, a thesis statement is the sentence in your introduction that gives your reader a clear idea about the structure and nature of your essay. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? Thesis statement is the last sentence of your introductory paragraph that clearly shows the reader the voice and argument direction as well as structure of your essay. Okay, that's what your thesis statement is. So Ferdov says it's first person, Preeti says it's first person, Rajveer, Awaz all agree that it's first person. Good job, students. I agree with you as well. So this is first person. Good. Absolutely. So it's a first person essay. Why do we know that? Well, there's two reasons we know that. One is which do you believe and why? So it's very directly asking you, the writer, about your belief, which is the first step that we identify or use to identify that it's a first person using I, me, my. And the second one is the end of the question, which says use explanations and examples from your own experience. Okay, so that means from your own life. So twice in the question, you see the words your and you, okay? Directly asking for your involvement. So it means it's a first person essay. Absolutely. And do you discuss both sides or just one side with two clear points? What do you think? So should you talk about both sides of this argument? Should you write about people who believe that it's a good idea and people who believe it's a bad idea? Or should you focus on one side and give two clear points of why you believe that side is more important or it's valid? Okay, what do you think? So Awaz says both. Firdavs says one. Anybody else? Preeti? Rajveer? What do you think? Should we discuss both sides in this case for the essay or one side? Okay. Rajveer says one side if I don't just partially agree. Students, I'll give you a big tip. This is another big tip. And Rajveer, thank you for that comment. It reminds me of this tip. It's very rare that you should be partially agreeing. Okay? So let's say tip. Usually, to be more specific, 9 from 10 task 2 essay questions like this, you should not partially agree. Okay? But just focus on one side. All right? So it's very rare that you would partially agree. Okay? Partially agree means you're sitting on the fence. So here's the fence, and you're sitting on top of the fence. You're not on this side of the fence. You're not on that side of the fence. It's not very interesting for readers when people sit on the fence, okay? When they're indecisive. It's much more exciting and interesting when a person chooses one side and creates a strong argument. So, Rajveer, I highly, highly recommend, especially somebody with fairly strong English like you, to choose just one side and give two clear points for why you choose that side. It makes a much more interesting and impactful essay. It makes a stronger essay, okay? Partially agree essays are kind of like, it's boring, okay? So, Carissa Marquez, thank you for becoming a member. I see that you chose the second level of membership with the videos, requests, and exams. That's fantastic. Carissa, make sure to send me an email a little bit later after the class, and I will hook you up with those perks, okay? I'll show you the email address at the end of the class as well, and it's at the beginning of this video also. So this is first person essay. It should be one side. So Awaz, be careful. It should be one side. Okay. It's not good that I see a lot of students, no matter what the question is, discuss both sides of the question. Okay, it's not good. Some questions for task 2 on the IELTS only look for one side of the argument, like this one. When it says, which side do you agree with, then the majority of your essay should be focusing on one side of the argument, what you're convincing your reader of, okay? So it's not discuss both views, okay? Awaz, if you see a question where it says discuss both views and give your own opinion, then discuss both views. If the question says discuss the advantages and disadvantages, then discuss both views, okay? Otherwise, just stick to one side. All right? Okay? So careful with that, students. It's very important. This is why it's important to paraphrase that. All right? Okay, good. So we're on track. And we now clearly know what we're doing. Now, in the real exam, of course, you're doing this very quickly. So you don't have time to spend 15, 20 minutes figuring this out. You have a minute, okay? So in that first minute, you paraphrase the question. You figure out that this is a first-person essay. It's one side only with two clear supporting points, okay? That's what your thesis statement has to be. Now, to figure out the thesis statement, okay, you can go through the steps like we've done before, where you identify the topic, you identify the controlling ideas, and you ask what, why, how, okay? So, choose the easy side for argument, okay? Which one do you think, members, is easier to write about? That it's a good idea to borrow money when you're building a business or buying a house, or it's a bad idea to borrow money when you're building a business or a house? Which one do you think? So I want to get to the introduction a little bit faster today, so I'm going to be more direct with you than going through all of the what, why, hows. So what do you think? Borrowing money from banks, financial institutions to buy your house or start your business, or not use your own money? Which one? Awaz says first part. Ferdov says good idea. Let's be a little bit more clear, students, in our communication. So say borrow money or not borrow money. Preeti, that's very clear. So Preeti says borrow money, it's a good idea. Yvonne says it's a good idea. I would agree, okay? I would agree that that's probably the right idea in today's world. So let's talk about this then, okay? So let's focus on this. So side I choose is borrow money from the bank. Okay, why? So why should I borrow money from the bank? Now here, think about what most people would say. What are the popular answers? Or ideas for this? Okay. So why do you think it's a good idea to borrow money? What do you, if you ask all businessmen and other people, and you say, hey, why? Why should I borrow money? Why not just kind of try to save my own money to do this? So what would be the answers here? And even in point form, when you're at home, planning and visualizing and critically thinking is very important. Preeti, low interest rate, I don't think that's the right answer here. So it's a good idea to borrow money at a low interest rate, or if you mean that currently there are low interest rates available, fine, but try to be a little bit more specific. Okay, so Yvonne says it's a fast way to buy a house. Okay, and Yvonne, you can think about this not just as a fast way to buy a house, but think about relatives, okay? Because here we're comparing to trying to save money. That's the other side, right? So instead of fast, we can say faster, all right? It's a faster way to buy a house. Think about your relatives. When you have a comparison between two ideas, Think about relatives, okay? So when comparing two opposing ideas, think about relatives, okay? Faster, better, and such, all right? So it's a faster way to start a business or buy a house. Good, okay, I think there's a very good thought there, Yvonne, absolutely. Awaz says it's an easier way. So Awaz, again, relative, right? It's easier to buy a business or own a house, okay? Paraphrase as much as possible. No worries, Amarjeet. You got to do what you got to do. Priyanka says it's easy to get a large amount of money and we can return it in a small amount per month. Sure. So I think we're all on the same track. Okay, so Ferdovs is giving us the other side of the coin and says many people live from paycheck to paycheck and they cannot afford to buy a house. Okay. Okay, it builds more credit. All right. What else? What else, students? So remember that your essay, you have to come up with 2 clear points. Faster way to buy a house or easier way to buy a house, these 2 are the same, okay? These are not 2 clear points. So if I write my thesis, remember that my thesis should have 2 clear points. It means that you need to have mutually exclusive points. So they cannot be the same idea. Okay? So for your thesis, it needs 2 clear points. Distinctly different. Okay, and because of this, faster and easier doesn't work because faster way and easier way is the same idea. Building further credit is okay as well. Rahul Preet, welcome to our membership. Thank you for joining. I see that you have our first level exclusive videos. It's really cool. Send me an email and I will send you a link to those videos, okay? Preeti says it's a safer way with a legal process. Okay. There are maybe some more reasons as well. So I like the idea of faster. Visualize it. So on one side, see people who are not borrowing money. And on the other side, see people who are borrowing money. Okay. Connie, welcome. A lot of new members joining. That's fantastic. So what is a big difference between those who are trying to buy house from their own pockets versus those who are getting help? Let's see. Amarjeet says, mine, sir. Amarjeet says, stress-free to collect money. I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly, Amarjeet, that it's stress-free. I think owning a mortgage or having to pay back a loan can be very stressful. So I don't know if I agree with that. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of help here. I would say that another reason why borrowing money from a bank is a better idea because of competition increasing, or I should say decreasing, the value of money. Okay? What I mean by that is that those people who are borrowing money have an advantage over those people who aren't borrowing money. And if you're trying to save the money for a business or a house, by the time you save enough to buy your house or your business, that business or that house is going to cost a lot more money, because people who are borrowing money are decreasing the value of money. Does that make sense? Okay. And Yvonne's giving us another good answer. It says, because the business, and I love this answer, Yvonne, and property can earn money, increase value. Absolutely, Yvonne, I agree. If I can borrow $1 million today, buy a house, and tomorrow it's worth $2 million, hey, I've made $1 million. I'll pay back that 1 million and I've made money. If I can't buy it, then I can't make that money. That's a really nice point. Okay, good. So now we have two very, very good points, I think. Those are faster, so it's a faster way to buy a house, and earn or increase value. All right, so faster and increase value. We'll go with those. They look fantastic. Write a thesis statement using those, okay? So write a thesis statement. Remember, you want to choose the two easiest, most popular points for arguing which side you choose, okay? This is a very important part of good writing strategy for Task 2 on IELTS, okay? Extremely important. So always, don't try to be too fancy, always choose the clearest and most popular 2 points to support your side of the argument. Okay, in this case, we'll choose faster and make money. Now, hint, make sure to use parallel grammar in your thesis when listing these points. Okay, parallel grammar is very important. That means you can't just simply write it like faster and make more money, because that's not parallel grammar. So new members, write your thesis statement with these 2 points, faster and making money. Okay, your thesis statement is the sentence which will go at the end of the introductory paragraph that tells the reader the voice, the direction, the points for argument. I'm going to write the thesis while you do it, and then we'll compare some notes. Okay? Okay, I'm going to stop there and wait for you to catch up. I don't want to spoil the fun. Okay, Carissa says borrowing money for buying a house is a good investment. Properties can increase value in the market. Okay, Carissa, that's good. You have 1 point, which is increased value. So borrowing money for buying a house is a good investment. As well, so include the second point, Carissa, which is it's a faster approach to owning property. Okay, so make sure to include that second point, Carissa, in your thesis statement. And Carissa, always have the points in the same order that you're going to have your body paragraphs. So if your first body paragraph, if you want that to be about a good investment because it increases in value, then have that as your first part of the thesis. If not, then you should have it as the second part of your thesis. I hope that makes sense, but it's a very good start, Carissa, to your thesis. Ferdov says, although certain individuals ascertain that borrowing money from financial institutions is a bad decision. I think a bad is better for Dovs than harmful. Is a bad decision. I believe that it is not only the fastest way to build a business or purchase a home, but also, yeah, for Dovs, your thesis is looking fantastic. It's looking really, really good. High band 8, band 9. Just make sure to finish. I think you ran out of characters and that's why you stopped. But it's looking really, really good. I love how you're using that correlative conjunction. Here, I'll borrow that from you, Ferdovs. Is not only better because it is a faster way to ownership. Okay, I'm not going to repeat buy property or start a company because here I'm just going to use the word ownership. It's clear that this ownership means buy property or start company. The next level of writing to be even more professional is to write really concise, so in as short a way as possible. All right? So this is my thesis so far. It's quite similar to Ferdov's. And it's also quite similar to Carissa's as well, just worded a little bit differently. Although some individuals believe it is better to only use money which a person has saved to buy property or start a company, I would argue that taking out a loan is not only better because it is a faster way to ownership, but also let's see what others have before I finish. Rajveer says, although many individuals ascertain that borrowing money from monetary organizations is a bad idea, I believe that it is beneficial because it is not only the faster way to get the required funds, but also increases the value of money. Okay. To make that parallel grammar, Rajveer, it should read like this, okay? So this is the parallel grammar, Rajveer. Notice, okay? Because it is not only the faster way to get funds, but also increase money. Yeah, because get funds, increase money, right, Rajveer? So that's parallel grammar. Verb, noun, verb, noun. Do you get what I mean there, Rajveer? So one more time, parallel grammar. Because it is not only the faster way to get funds, but also increase money. Okay. Are you feeling what I'm trying to explain to you there with parallel grammar, Rajveer? All right, meanwhile, I see that Ferdov's finished his response as well, but also it is the best way to earn money from value of property. Ferdov's, you can say that a little bit simpler. So Ferdov's, for the end of your thesis, I would write it like this. I believe that it is not only the fastest way to build a business or purchase a home, but also the best way to earn money from investments. Okay? Instead of value of property, that's a bit awkward for Dobbs, I would say earn money from investments. Okay? All right, Preeti says, although some people think that borrowing money from banks is a bad idea, I believe that not only is it a faster way to buy a house or start a business, but also to earn money from such investments. That's how I would end that one, Preeti. Okay, good. So I'm going to finish my thesis statement as well, and then we'll move on to our introductory paragraph. So although some individuals believe it is better to only use money which a person has saved to buy property or start a company, I would argue that taking out a loan is not only better, and because I have the word only here, I highly recommend students avoiding word repetition in the same sentence. So one of those words I have to change so I don't repeat the word only. What word do you recommend? What can I use to replace the word only in the sentence? What is a good synonym for the word only in your writing if you feel like, oh, I've overused the word only? Yeah, exactly, Rajveer. So both points have to have the same form of words. So verb, noun, verb, noun. Preeti, very good. Just, absolutely. Okay, just, good. So although some individuals believe it is better to just use money which a person has saved to buy property or start a company, I would argue that taking out a loan is not only better because it is a faster way to ownership, but also a faster way to profits. All right. So faster way to ownership, faster way to profits. Okay, so profits meaning making money from those investments. Very good. All right. Now I can simplify this. I can make it more concise. By doing this is both better because it is a faster way to ownership and profits. Okay, so now I've made my writing even more concise. It's still nice, complex, but even more concise. Concise meaning that I say the same information but in a shorter way. And I highly, highly recommend members that when you write an essay, go through it a couple times and see if you can make your sentences concise. Don't lose information, so make sure that you still have the same information, but stated in a shorter way. That's one of the most useful tips I can give you to go from a band 6.5 to a 7.58. So you can increase your band score by increasing your vocabulary, your complexity, and so on. But one way that you can increase your band scores is to write clear, concise essays. Okay? Connie, thank you. Just, you got that, yeah, for the only. Okay? So here's an important tip again, okay? This is a very important tip for all of our viewers and members, okay? Clear and concise essays get good scores or high bands. Okay? So, when you practice essay writing, and this is not just good for IELTS, but it's also good for university. Always review your work and make it as concise as you can without losing information, of course. Okay, you have to be careful not to lose important information. Is that clear what I mean about being concise? So the way that I just did that with that thesis statement, that's what you need to do is think, okay, how can I say the same idea but just in a shorter way? Although some individuals believe it is better to just use money which a person has saved to buy property or start a company, comma, because this is the dependent clause, comes the independent clause. I would argue that taking out a loan is both better because it is a faster way to ownership and profits. Okay? So notice how I've been able to shrink this down to just ownership and profits. And instead of because, I'm going to even shorten that more as it is. Okay? All right, so that is my thesis statement. Now I can put together my introduction. And the introduction the introductory paragraph starts with a hook, which is an interesting statement that catches your reader's attention. Okay? And then the background. Okay, so the hook is a simple fact about the topic, which in this case is borrowing money. Okay, then the background, which is a definition of key terms and importance of question. Okay, and then comes the thesis, which we already talked about. So then comes the thesis after. Now, I've run out of time for the remainder of this class. I don't want to rush through the hook and the background, and I think a lot of our members have practiced the hook and the background, so I'm going to leave that for you for homework. Tomorrow we're going to finish this essay with the body paragraphs and the conclusion. Please write your introductory paragraphs for tomorrow, including, of course, the hook, the background, the thesis. I will do the same, and then we will start from there. For those of you who don't know what the hook and the background is yet, check out some other Writing Task 2 videos on the channel where I explain the hook and the background. That will give you clarity, and then practice the hook and the background for this question. Visualize it. Okay, so what is an interesting fact all around the world about borrowing money? What does it mean to borrow money for buying a house or a business? Think about quantifying it. Okay, why is it important to discuss this question of borrowing money? And I see that Firdavs and Priyanka already have some ideas around this. They're quite good. I'm not going to get into them now. I'm going to stop here. And again, tomorrow we'll pick it up with the body paragraphs and the conclusion. Welcome new members to the class. Connie, awesome to have you on board. Some more of our members were Rahul Preet. Welcome aboard as well. And we had another member, Carissa, join. Good to have all of you on board. Please make sure to send an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will hook you up with those perks, okay? I look forward to hearing from you. And in 30 minutes, students, we will be continuing with an all-chat class where all of our viewers can join in on the chat. And that will be for the listening section, specifically part 1 and part 2 of the listening section. For all of our viewers, all of our members, make sure to join our premium packages at aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com. This is for the academic, this is for the general version of the exam, and of course we have our respective apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help as well. Awaz, you're very, very welcome. Preeti, you're welcome. Rajveer, Priyanka, Awaz, Firdavs, you're welcome. hopefully see most or all of you in 30 minutes for some listening. Bye for now. I'm Adrian from Budapest.